You're the one everyone calls when they're falling apart. 2 a.m. and they need to talk. You answer. Bad breakup. You listen. Family crisis. You're there every single time. You know their deepest secrets, their worst fears, their unspoken pain. You've held their trauma like it's your own. You've talked them off ledges. You've been their anchor when they were drowning, and you're good at it. So good that they forget you're human too, because you never fall apart. You never need saving. You're the strong one, the reliable one, the one who has it together. Except you don't. You're exhausted, burned out, carrying everyone's pain like stones in your pockets until you can barely stand. But you can't stop, because if you're not the one holding everyone together, then who are you? This is the psychology of people who are everyone's therapist friend, and it's lonelier than anyone knows. You didn't choose this role, it chose you. Maybe you were the oldest child who learned to manage everyone's emotions. Maybe you had a parent who made you their confidant too young. Maybe you just noticed pain in others and couldn't walk away. Somewhere along the way, you learned that being needed was the closest thing to being loved. So you made yourself indispensable. You became the person who always had time, who always understood, who never judged, and people noticed. They came to you with their problems, and you solved them. And they came back, and you solved those too. You became the friend people called when they were broken, and somehow that became your entire identity. But here's what nobody tells you. Being needed isn't the same as being valued, and being useful isn't the same as being loved. You're not their friend. You're their unpaid therapist, their emotional support animal, the person they use and then forget about until the next crisis. And you know this. Deep down you know, but you keep showing up anyway. Because if you stop being useful, maybe they'll stop calling altogether. And being used feels better than being forgotten. You're so tired. Tired of listening. Tired of fixing. Tired of carrying everyone's pain on top of your own. You go to bed drained. You wake up already exhausted, because even in your sleep, you're thinking about their problems. Did she leave him? Is he okay? Should you check in? You carry their stress in your body, their anxiety in your chest, their grief in your bones, and no one notices, because you've trained them not to. You've made it look so easy that they forgot. It costs you anything at all. They don't see the weight. They don't see you crying after their crisis is over. They don't see you neglecting your own life to manage theirs. They just see someone who's always available, always strong, always fine, and you let them believe it. Because admitting you're drowning means admitting you're not who they think you are. The strong one, the stable one, the one who doesn't need saving, but you do need saving. You're just too good at hiding it. And the people you're saving, they're too absorbed in their own pain to notice yours. You want to say no, you've tried, but every time you think about setting a boundary, the guilt crushes you. What if they really need you? What if this is the one time it's actually serious? What if saying no means they do something drastic and it's your fault? So you say yes, again and again and again. Because saying no feels selfish, and you've learned that your needs come last. You've spent so long being the person who saves everyone that you forgot you're allowed to save yourself. And the worst part, they've learned they don't have to ask nicely. They don't have to check if you have capacity. They don't have to wonder if you're okay, because you're always okay. You're always available. You're always willing to drop everything. You've trained them to take and take and take, and now you're empty. But you can't tell them that, because that would mean burdening them with your feelings. And you're not allowed to be a burden. You're supposed to carry burdens, not be one. So you keep giving pieces of yourself until there's nothing left, and they keep taking, thinking the well will never run dry. Here's the cruelest irony. You're surrounded by people, and you've never been more alone. You know everything about them, and they know almost nothing about you because the relationship is one way. They talk, you listen. They break, you fix. They need, you give. But when you need someone, silence. Not because they don't care, but because they've never had to care. You've never asked them to. You've made yourself so strong, so capable, so self-sufficient that they forgot you're human. They forgot you have bad days. You have breakdowns. You have moments when you need someone to just hold you and say it's going to be okay. But you can't ask for that, because asking feels like failing, like breaking the unspoken contract. You hold them together, and in return, they need you. That's it. That's the transaction. You get to be needed. They get to be saved. And no, one asks if you're okay. And when you finally break, when you can't hold it together anymore, they don't know what to do with you, because you're not supposed to break. You're the strong one. So they get uncomfortable. They change the subject. They remind you of all the people who have it worse. And you learn, once again, that your pain doesn't matter as much as theirs. You're not just helping people. You're proving something, that you're worthy, that you matter, that you deserve to exist. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that your value is in your usefulness, that love is earned through service, that being needed is the same as being wanted. So you keep helping, keep fixing, keep carrying. Because if you stop, what's left? Just you, ordinary you, the you that isn't solving anyone's problems or saving anyone's life, and that you doesn't feel like enough. So you stay in the role. You let people drain you. You sacrifice your own well-being for theirs, not because you're selfless, but because being needed is the only way you know how to feel valuable. And that's not friendship. That's codependency. You're not their friend. You're their fix. And they're not your friends. They're your proof that you matter. And until you learn that you matter even when you're not useful, you'll keep doing this. Keep giving until you're empty. Keep helping until you're broken. Keep being everyone's therapist until you forget how to just be someone's friend. You're allowed to stop. You're allowed to say, I don't have the capacity for this right now. You're allowed to have bad days where you're the one who needs support. You're allowed to be human, messy, imperfect, in need. And if people can't handle that, if they disappear the moment you're not useful, then they were never really your friends. Real friends don't just take, they give. They notice when you're struggling. They ask if you're okay and actually wait for the answer. Real friends don't treat you like a resource. They treat you like a person, and you deserve that. Even if you don't believe it yet. You deserve relationships where you're valued, not just needed. Where you're loved, not just useful. So start small, set one boundary. Say no to one thing. Let one person solve their own problem. And notice what happens. Notice who respects it, and who gets angry. The ones who get angry, they're showing you who they are. They liked you better when you were a tool. The ones who understand, those are the ones worth keeping. You can't save everyone, and you were never supposed to. You were supposed to live your own life, to matter, even when you're not fixing anyone. So stop carrying everyone, and start carrying yourself. You've held everyone else together for so long. Now it's your turn to be held. If you're exhausted from being everyone's emotional supportive, you can't remember the last time someone asked if you were okay. You're not alone. Being the therapist's friend isn't strength, it's survival. And you're allowed to stop surviving and start living. This is a space where that's understood. If you'd like to stay, consider subscribing. And if you need to say it out loud how tired you are, how much you carry, how badly you need someone to care, the comments are yours. Thank you for being here. You're allowed to need people too.